It is my honor and pleasure to introduce Bill Gates, chairman and co-founder of Microsoft, co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and 2010 winner of the Franklin Institute's Bauer Award for Business Leadership. Thank you.
Well, I'll just say a few introductory things, and then whatever questions you have, I'll enjoy answering those. And I was very lucky to get a great education. I had parents who were willing to buy books, including the World Book, which was as good as it got 40 years ago. And the teachers I had were just fantastic. I got an interest in science and math. I got a sense that curiosity could be fulfilled, and that led me at age 13 to have a chance to use a computer. It was kind of unusual at the time. Actually, the computer wasn't at the high school. It was a so-called teletype connected over a phone line to a very expensive machine, $1 million computer, of which in the world at that time there were less than 1,000. And so we used a tiny piece of it, so-called time sharing, and played around with programs. It was strange because the teachers were supposed to teach us how to program, but because you had to spend money on this thing, and if you made a mistake in your program, you could spend a lot of money, a few teachers got worried about it and decided that it was too daunting. And so some friends and I were asked to teach the programming class. That was a fun thing. And then we were asked to schedule the classes using software, because the school had gotten very complex. And that was also a fun thing, to decide who was in my classes and when various things would meet, when I would have free time. So, I was lucky in high school to be exposed to computing and to have a sense that the horizons were incredible. And about that time, the miracle of the chip was happening, and Paul Allen and I watched that and said, well, this is unbelievable that these chips are going to get twice as many transistors and they're going to get more powerful. And in fact, when I was in 9th grade, Paul said that it's going to happen, they're going to be super powerful, and he kept showing me the progress. And I said, well, I don't want to start a company about this until they're better than what was called a mini computer, which cost about $100,000. I said, as soon as that chip is as good as a mini computer, we should drop out. And it didn't happen until I was actually in college. Finally, Intel came out with this chip that was really phenomenal. And Paul said, is this as good as we need? And I said, yeah, it is. And that's when Microsoft got started. It is pretty incredible that in this country you can start a company and have it become a big successful company. And even more importantly, that learning science gives you an opportunity to do neat things. If you get a great education, particularly in the sciences, you get everything. You get to have a job that's fun, you get to have a job that pays well, and perhaps most importantly, you get to have a job that has impact. And somehow I wonder why it's not easier to tell kids, say back in 5th or 6th grade, boy, the payoff to pursuing your curiosity and learning these things is just phenomenal. That is, the opportunities you're going to have as an adult will be so inferior by any way you look at it if you haven't done these things. But, it's hard. And in fact, now that I'm full-time on the foundation work, the idea of how we can do new things in education, get the world's best teachers online so you can just click and watch them, test your knowledge to see if you understand something, or if there's some base concept you need to have re-explained to you. And there's reasons to be hopeful that technology, which as yet is only touched education a tiny bit, might be able to help make improvements, and that teachers would get very involved in both using technology and having it be something where they can watch best practice and learn themselves. As was said, the other big thing our foundation does are help try to improve things in the poor countries. Of 6 billion people in the world, 2 billion live in very tough conditions where I hear a lot of talk about what should be done or what should happen.
and I would like to know what you, as someone who has done a lot of things, what you would suggest we as students could do to change not only our own lives, but the lives of people around us.
Well, there's a huge set of things that can be done to improve the world. And if you kind of wallow in it and think, okay, I got to pick the perfect one, you could spend your whole life just, not really picking. It's much easier to be involved today than it's ever been. And for most people, that won't be their full-time job. Their full-time job will help them earn money. Hopefully they'll work for a company that has an enlightened attitude about these things, whatever its skills or resources are being applied. But almost as a serious hobby, today I'd say about 4% of people have this, and if that went up to 30%, it would be a dramatic thing where there's something about inequity that you're passionate about, involved in, thinking about. And the earlier that starts, the better. In my case, I didn't really have that much awareness until I was in my 40s. I was so maniacal about Microsoft being good that I did very little. We ran United Way campaigns. We did a few things, but I really wasn't immersed in it. So, I hope more people are different than I was and getting on the learning curve, even in high school.
I had two questions. I wanted to know, what did you read as a child, and what do you read now?
Yeah, when I was young, I read quite a variety of things. I read a ton of science fiction. I read a ton of biographies. I was interested. What was it like to be MacArthur? What the heck did he do? Eisenhower, Roosevelt, great scientists, Newton, Einstein, Feynman. And in fact, there's all those ones I picked. There's wonderful books about them.
I was wondering how do you feel about special admission schools like SLA? I guess we call them magnet schools, but do you feel that they're beneficial to the learning environment in the city, or are they detracting from the equality people could be getting, like other schools could be getting?
Well, there's no doubt magnet schools are great for the people who go to them. And what we should want is that the quality of teaching improves at magnet schools and non-magnet schools, so that the horrific facts about the dropout rates, that those are changed fundamentally. So I don't have a strong opinion about whether the magnet approach, is required. My interest is more in, okay, if a teacher wants to be better, how would they go see the best teacher? Whether it's calming the classroom down, making a topic interesting. I've got a kid behind. What online material could I point him to? I've got a kid who's ahead, who's bored. What could I do with that girl and help her so she's still thrilled at her learning experience?
I was wondering, how do you think young adults should go about being able to follow our dreams, to help the world, and have people actually listen to us?
Well, I think the number one thing is to invest in yourself. That you've got to get a great education, and that starts in high school, but then it involves going to a college and doing well in that college. That's the foundation on which everything else is built. It's if you have that, both in terms of the career, the income, the position, the ability to understand complex problems, then's when you can make the incredible contribution. Along the way, it's nice if you can. Job number one is invest in yourself. Job number two, if possible, is to develop some awareness and giving back while you're doing that. But it shouldn't overwhelm that first thing, which is your contribution to society is your mental learning innovation potential.
Absolutely right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you. Thank you all.
Ladies and gentlemen.